And what I'm hoping is we'll see whether it's worth an inspection. Hello, someone's inside. This is very good. That looks like that's inside the... Good Lord. That is very, very good. Oh my Lord, you can see. That's what it is. Look, you can see that there. And we are looking at a huge amount of explosives here. There are millions of pounds worth of explosives. I mean, it's enormous. The scale of it is huge. A lot of them are containerised. A lot of them look like they're about to be transported out, quite possibly to the Gulf, that could be used in Iraq. Again, £250,000, 1.1. And there are several questions to ask about them. And one of the questions to ask here is, what about security? So we're going to have to go in or have to get as near as we can to try and make an inspection.
Where we're going today is, this is a plan of RAF welfare. We've got the M4 here.
The video is good preliminary evidence, but the sheer scale of the American weapons dump requires verification.
And hopefully we'll get everything out very quickly and all be ready to rock and roll. Okay?
The anonymous source managed to roam around the base unchallenged for 24 minutes. If someone got in here with malicious intent, it would be child's play to detonate this whole place with devastating consequences.
Well, we're just on the side here. You can just see over the fence is the base, and it looks like those metal containers we think are the ones that contain the explosives. We're going to be able to check. We can see the mounds of earth as well. I think this is where the alleys are. I think this might be a good place to stop. What I want to do is move as quick as possible, please, guys. Let's start with the avenue, see if we can find the bomb racks. I'd be surprised if we don't get a presence reasonably soon. As we can't get into the base, and the military bylaws, or the bylaws of the area mean that we can't actually go over the line of it, what we can do is try and get this up, which is our eye in the sky. We will be in parallel with the fence, so that what we'll do is we won't be breaking any military bylaws, but with any luck we'll be able to get high enough. They've got some cameras attached to there, and we'll be able to see down on how big it is. Right, what we need to do is pull over just a little bit because we're going, Now you can see, there's the bays. Can we just bring it back, Dennis? Okay, if you can just shout to, that's what we want to look at. Hold it there.
Sorry,
we've got
on the other side.
2, 4, 6. Let's have it. No, that's the area he needs to sweep back on. Okay, tell him to keep on that area because we need to try and get as many shots. That's very good. I'll go and say hello to the cops in a minute, but that's the area that we need to be looking at. If you look at the containers, if those are loaded containers, and we're looking at somewhere, I mean, down here, you're looking at the bays, we've got easy 20, 30. Each one of those has got £250,000 worth of ordnance in it, so it's a rough estimate, but I imagine if those containers are full and those bays are done, then that's £30 million worth of explosives. And you can, we're not far from the M4. If you put your ear out, you can just hear that we're actually on the edge of the M4. I imagine if that lot went up, there'd be people being taken out on the M4. How you doing?
Can I ask you what you're doing, actually?
Yeah, my name's Mark Thomas, we're with Channel 4.
Oh, yeah, so I recognise you, yeah?
You're right there, we're doing a quick weapons inspection.
Oh, yeah?
Just on...
so how are you doing that, then, with this...
We've got a camera just up there.
Yep.
On the helicopter. We're aware of the bylaws, we know that there's no flying objects over the wire, over the perimeter fences.
It is actually private land.
That's right, yes.
By the local landowner.
Yeah, so I'm aware of that. It's a civil matter, though, isn't it?
Yes, it is indeed, yeah.
Okay.
But obviously, if the landowner comes, he may well request you to move on.
And we would completely comply with that, as you would expect.
Okay.
That was great. I think we're going to be all right with that. As it's American, it's an American dump. We've got no access to it, we've got no accountability. Not even in Parliament is there any form of accountability because of the way in which the legality of American bases in Britain was set up under the Ambassador's Agreement in the 50s. So they can't even question it. What it does mean is that the bombs here might be taken out to Fairford where they might be used on the stealth, or they might be taken to other US bases, they might be shipped out of this country and used in other areas. What it does mean, though, is that anything that goes wrong with this stuff, any war crimes that are committed, any breaches of international humanitarian law, Britain is liable to. Whether it is committed by America or Britain, Britain will be liable to it.
So Hans Blix's report is now with the UN, and the world waits to see what happens. And in my report on Britain and America's weapons of mass destruction, we've seen disregard of arms control treaties, the threat of a new bioweapons arms race, and a blanket refusal to engage in open debate. But there are consequences, legal consequences for the government if their weapons of mass destruction cause widespread civilian deaths. And individual liability for war crimes now goes right to the top.
I'm with a lawyer here. This is Phil Shiner. This is my lawyer, and we've two lawyers on the show. Now, we've prepared a letter. This is a legal letter that we're going to serve. We're going to try and serve on Tony Blair in a minute. And it actually, it's on behalf of myself and non-government organisations like CND and Campaign Against the Arms Trade. What's the letter saying?
It puts Tony Blair on notice, and other leaders of the government, that if they go to war at the moment without a Security Council authorisation, then it's a crime of aggression and therefore it's a crime against peace, defined by the Nuremberg Treaty. And secondly, if there are breaches of international humanitarian law, particularly in terms of indiscriminate bombing against civilians, a coalition of NGOs and lawyers around the world will do their level best to make the government, to make the leaders of the government, including Tony Blair, accountable to the prosecutor in the International Criminal Court, which will be operational very shortly.
That is basically lawyers' talk. For if you go bombing and you start killing civilians, we're going to try and put you in the dock, Mr. Blair.
Opponents of the government's war plans may look a harmless bunch, but campaigners like Bruce Kent of CND lead a growing number of civil organisations and charities determined to call the Prime Minister to account. And this time, the law may be on their side.
Sorry? Would you do the honours?
I've come to serve a document on Mr. Blair. It's a legal document on behalf of various non-governmental organisations, including CND, Campaign Against the Arms Trade, Mr. Blair personally.
Okay, who's his name for you?
My name is Phil Shiner from Public Interest Lawyers.
Okay, then, will do.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much indeed for your help. Cheers. OK, well, out we go. We've finished, guys. We've put the thing in progress. Now the question is will Tony Blair end up in The Hague? Is he going to share a cell with Slobodan Milosevic?
Well, if it goes too far, he could not.
Do you reckon his wife will do the court case? Well, no, because every Friday she's got to nip down to Bristol to collect the rent on the flats. If it all goes wrong and Jack Straw ends up in